Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome to another awesome week of the U.S. history class. I hope you had some good time and be able to recuperate a little bit as we get into the last couple weeks of class. Yes, just a few weeks ago. It's been really good this last week to be able to look in depth of your grading, talk to quite a few of you, and really get a plan for some of you to finish strong. If that hasn't been you, if you feel like you have some unanswered questions, some anxiety, you're not sure how you're standing, I encourage you to reach out and email me, and we could talk about that this coming week so that we can see where you're at and really come up with a strong plan for your success as we finish out the U.S. history class. So we've carried a lot. We've been able to focus on a lot of awesome stuff and developments that I hope really sets a new foundation and a look at the nation, not only a couple hundred years ago, but how those things have a long thread into where we're at today in the 21st century. That's the main point of awesome history, is being able to connect those and see where we're at today and where it came from. And so this week, what I call Jefferson and Jackson's America in a revolutionary world. Now, you might think, we've talked about the Revolutionary War, Jesse. Why are we going back to it? Well, we're looking at it. You guys are professionals of the Revolutionary War. Now, you could understand all the causation of what created the American Revolution. You could rock that and be a true historian in that sense. Now we're going to use those and see what ingredients that sparked the American Revolution as a causation, as the causations of that revolution, of how that plays in other revolutions around the Atlantic world, so in Europe and the Americas. So you've heard of the French Revolution, but the Haitian Revolution's another one, and there's many other that take form and all have the same ingredients. So we're going to look at the ingredients of the revolution and how this revolutions of the Atlantic world really started to happen. But why does that matter in a U.S. history class, you might say? Well, I'll tell you, there's a huge reaction to it. There's a huge importance to it, and we're going to look at that in the first section. So the first section is looking at the new nation in a revolutionary world. And you're going to see that there's two lectures there, mini lectures, and tied to that are quiz questions. So very easy, but just to help kind of do as you do the reading, as you watch the video. So a couple of those, and then a very quick brainstorm about Enlightenment ideals. I talk about that in the very last part of the last lecture, so that's connected for that. And then, and that's pretty much it. This section will be due on Wednesday, and it shouldn't take longer than an hour. So that's the first section there. So due Wednesday. The second part, due Friday, is about westward expansion. It's looking at the presidency of Jefferson, but also compares that with the presidency of Jackson, Andrew Jackson, of how they're both looking at westward expansion. A lot of similarities, but really a lot of similarities in the fact that they're looking at how to move west, how to deal with what they call the Indian problem, and how to deal with slavery in this with Enlightenment ideas. So that whole idea again of, okay, it's great for our own protection of liberties and and humanity, but then what do we do with people who are a conflict of that? So a certain territory might be, it's my right to be a great farmer in that region, but what if someone else has the same right to the same land? Who wins out in that? And so that contest, you really see, especially with Jackson. But with Jefferson, in his presidency, he gets a big win when he doubles the territory of the United States with Louisiana Purchase, and uses that territory to expand his ideas and agenda of westward expansion. So we're going to look at his letter and instructions to his secretary. You know him as Lewis, and the good friend Clark, Lewis and Clark. But we're going to look at that letter and what that means, what he really is trying to get out of that expedition to the west. So that's going to be focusing on for the that Friday discussion. There's a very fast 15-minute video that kind of explains things as well. And then the third part, which is due Monday. So you have a section due Wednesday, the discussion due Friday, and then of course the discussion due Monday, which is all about the Trail of Tears, and that's under Jackson's presidency, of how he's dealing with not just these distant native tribes in the West, but actually in the territory that you would think, when you think of the Revolutionary War I, these are territories in there, but these are very strong tribes. And how do you deal with that in in that area. So that's our final section there, looking at the primary document and a fantastic documentary. So it's a 1 hour. This whole section will take about 2 hours altogether. The Monday discussion will take about 2 hours altogether. The Friday discussion will take about an hour. So the whole week you could do pretty easily under 5 hours, I would say. And that discussion's there. Now you'll see in here as well is I have the textbook reading for chapters 10 and 11. I don't expect you to read word for word everything from chapters 10 and 11. Use those as references. Go through the material of this section first and foremost, and then from there, look at the discussions for Friday and Monday, and then go back to the reading and try to see the sections in there to add to your discussion for a little more meat, a little more information to add to your discussions there, and see the narrative. So it's a really big skill to be able to understand and get a big chunk of reading like this, and how to not read every single word, but how to get what you need to out of it. That's a skill that I'd like you to really work on for this week when we're looking at this 10 and 11. So chapter 10 is going to be connected to the Friday discussion, and chapter 11 to the Monday discussion. But again, really work on skimming it to get the main information out of that, and focus on the material in the module. Okay, so I hope that goes well with you. Welcome again to week 15, Jefferson and Jackson's Americas in a Revolutionary World. It's a fun week. I'm really excited to hear what you have to say in these discussions, and also I really look forward to getting emails from you if you have questions or concerns, or let me know how you're doing with the whole class as we finish out the last few weeks of U.S. history. Thanks, guys. Take care.